Hey everyone, welcome to week 8 of South Whitley Community Public Library's summer reading program for teens. This week we are going to be making a tissue paper transfer craft project. So this is what your finished product will look like, but yours will probably be a lot darker than ours was. This was just a quick sample that we did. And the longer that you leave your tissue paper on your paper, the darker that it will be, and the more vibrant colors that you choose, the better it will be. So it'd be better to use this than, this pale. This is a very, very pale green. I don't know if you can kind of see it. That one's not really going to transfer over any color. So in your craft kit this week, if you got it from the library, you'll have some cardstock, which is thick paper, and some tissue paper. And it doesn't matter what sizes your tissue paper are, because you're going to be ripping those up. And if you want, you can use the whole sheet of cardstock that we give you, or you can cut it into smaller sizes if you want to do that. You are going to need a white crayon. If you don't have a white crayon, really any color will work, but white kind of looks cooler because it will show the lines a little better. And if you don't have a white crayon, you could try colored pencil or something like that. So the very first thing you're going to do for your project is you're going to draw some kind of a design on your paper. And you want to make sure you press really hard with that crayon, get it nice and waxy, because that's going to help the colors are going to not go on the wax. So you can do any kind of a design. If you want to draw a picture, you can do that. I just made some chevron design or some zigzags across there. You can't really see it. So once you have that done, you can put your colored pencil off to the side. And you are going to need to get some water and a paintbrush. So it doesn't really matter what kind of paintbrush you use. I'm going to be using this nice sponge brush today. Then you're going to get that tissue paper that's in your craft kit, and you can rip it up however you want to. If you want small pieces, if you want to use the whole sheet, that's fine. And you're going to place those wherever you want them in your artwork. And if you want to get them wet as you go along, you can do that. You're just going to get your paintbrush wet. I'll get this out of the way so you can see. And you're just going to paint with water over top of your tissue paper. And you want to make sure that you get it nice and wet so that the color will bleed out of the tissue paper and onto your cardstock. But you don't want to get it so soaking wet that it's going to wilt the cardstock and make it kind of disintegrate too. So it's a fine line, but I'm sure you can do it. And like I said before, you can rip it up however you want to. And it can hang off of your paper, that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you want your pieces to kind of overlap a little bit too, so that you have lots of different variations in shades and maybe even some new colors if you used colors that would mix together a little bit. When you're painting, if things get a little crinkly, that's fine. As long as they're laying flat on your paper, if they're folded up, it won't matter. And you can pick up the pieces and move them a little bit if you need to. So I can already see that my purple down here, or magenta, whatever you want to call it, I can already see it's bleeding a little bit. I don't know if you can really see it in the picture. So I'm using bigger sheets just so I can get this done a little faster. But like I said a couple of times, take your time and cut those pieces up as small as you want them to be. Make a nice mosaic design. It'll turn out really cool. And you'll notice as you go, your paper gets pretty wet. So sometimes if you're using a smaller piece, you can go ahead and just stick it right on there and it'll start sticking itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop. So we're gonna pretend like my whole page is covered. So it'll look kind of like this. So what you wanna do next is take a little bit more water and go over any of the spots that maybe aren't completely stuck down to the page. And then you're gonna leave it sit for as long as you need to. Like you can leave it for, you can go have lunch, come back, check on it. Once it looks really dry, we're gonna pretend like mine is all dry. You're gonna very carefully peel off the colors, like that. And if things get ripped up a little bit, that's fine. So you're gonna notice here, that magenta that I talked to you about earlier, that really, even just in those few minutes that I was doing it, it really bled on there and looked really nice. And you can kind of see right here, there's a line that goes through, and that's where my crayon was. So your crayon will stay white, whatever design that you made, and then the colors will bleed around it. So as before, we said your finished product will look kind of like this. You can see it, but your colors should be a lot more vibrant. So we would love to see what your finished product turns out like, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.